So I'm going to be doing my favorite sourdough recipe. The only complicated thing is just to get your whole wheat starter going. Once you've inherited a sourdough starter, the rest is easy. So I fed this last night and a little bit this morning. So it doubled. I took out 80%, 70% actually, and then I added another 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. I usually use unbleached or bread flour, but to be honest, I got this at an amazing deal, so I'm just going to experiment with using all-purpose flour and a little bit of rye flour and a little bit of whole wheat as usual. So I fed the starter, it's ready to go, it's active. I add a half a cup of whole wheat flour, and then I add 1.5 cups of all-purpose. By the way, these scoops are half cups. And then I add half cup of rye flour and caraway seeds. These are a wonderful aroma. When I was a kid, I hated caraway seeds, but it's funny how our tastes change. And a tablespoon of turmeric powder, ground. You can also use probably fresh turmeric root, grated, if you don't mind getting your fingers yellow. And water. I'm going to be adding approximately 1 cup of water, filtered. You can boil it and use room temperature water ideally. I might need to add a little bit more water. I'll feel it as I'm mixing, and I'll show you when you know the right consistency. Okay. After adding the sourdough starter, add about 1.5 teaspoons of salt. By the way, this is going to make 1 large sourdough or 2 small sort of ciabatta style sourdough rolls. So my daughter really likes this part. You spend like 30 minutes just kneading it, but technically it only takes I don't know, 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Once you do this, you just mix it until it becomes a nice ball of dough. So I'm noticing right now that the dough is a little bit dry, so it's not picking up the rest of the pieces. So I added some filtered water to the jar of my sourdough starter, and I'm just adding another 1/4 cup. And it's good because you get the rest of the yeast. And then you just keep mixing with your hand. It's really not difficult. Just bind all of the pieces of flour from the bowl into a nice dough ball. So I'm finished kneading the dough. I washed my hands a little bit, so just finished. I just want to show you the texture of it. Now there is very little elasticness to the dough. But in about 45 minutes, I'm going to come back. I'm going to knead it a little bit like this. I'll fold it over. I don't know if you can see it in the video. I'll just fold it over from the edge to the middle, and I'll do that on each 4 corners. Bring it in, and it'll become more elasticy. Okay. To be honest with you, this dough, I like the texture right now. I'm tempted to put a little bit more liquid in it, but I've been experimenting lately, and I found this particular turmeric caraway loaf amazing, but it was missing a little bit of the crumb that they talk about in sourdough recipes, which has more air in it. And I think it's because it was a little too moist. So this recipe, I'm going to go a little bit drier, and like we all know, put a piece of saran wrap over it or a damp towel, and you just let it bulk ferment. Once again, I'll be kneading it every 45 minutes, and I'm gonna come back and I'll show you that stage.